Hello, 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 and welcome to today's episode of Her Version. This podcast is dedicated to sharing stories of struggle to triumph, a platform that allows individuals to tell their truth in order to inspire and uplift others. For those of you that are new to this podcast and like content like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you follow, like, and share. I am your host, Sabrina Victoria. Let's jump right in. Thank you for those of you joining us today for this episode of Her Version. The Her Version platform is built on storytelling and the understanding that many times our greatest learning experiences come from learning from other people's stories. Today, I am speaking with an amazing woman named Lisa Ingalls Witter. Lisa is here today to talk about her journey about learning and wholeheartedly believing in the theory of law of attraction. 30 years into this journey, she turned around and realized it had done absolutely nothing for her despite her persistence. If you are having these same struggles, you are going to want to sit down and listen in. Lisa is going to break it down, reverse it, and tell you the truth about getting what you want out of life. We are here today to talk about spiritual awakenings. Welcome, Lisa. So with the car, let's say the law of attraction, my thought would be, this could be right or wrong, I don't know. My thought would be, if you don't believe in the law of attraction, then the law of attraction doesn't work. Same with religion. This is my thought. If you don't believe in being a Catholic, or you don't believe in being a Christian, and you don't follow the rules of all of the things, then or you don't believe in heaven or hell, then you just won't go. You just won't go to heaven if you don't believe in heaven. You won't be saved if you don't believe in being saved. With the law of karma, is the law of karma happening to all of us all the time, whether we believe or don't believe?
Yes.
Or do we have to understand it in order for it? Yeah.
No. Yeah, that's a great question. And it is true. It's an undeniable truth that every action creates a result. You don't have to believe in that. That's what I love about yoga tradition and all Eastern spiritual traditions is the main premise is do not believe any of this.
Got it.
Just have an experience. You don't have to believe any of it. It just is. It's a truth of relative reality. Fundamental to the world we live in is that every action creates a result. That is karma. Every action creates a result. When we're talking about the human psyche and everything, you can also see how people endure suffering because of a misunderstanding. They fundamentally think that they're separate, that there's something wrong with them, that they're not whole and complete as they already are. And that is the cause of suffering in our life. And that is how karma works. So it's an inescapable law. You don't have to believe in it. It just is. It's always working.
Yeah, that's what it kind of sounded like. So thank you for that. For those that are listening now who are of faith, godly faith, like a heavenly God faith, how does that interfere, or does it not interfere?
It doesn't interfere at all because it's not. And I think
Is it kind of taken away from God, though?
No, because what we haven't talked about in this whole conversation around the law of karma is that it's based in scripture, Indian scripture. And so whatever you want to call it, whether it's God or the divine or the universe, the fundamental premise of Indian philosophy is that there is a divine power. But what's different here is that we're saying in this line of teaching, which is primarily tantric, non-dual. Again, I don't want to get deep into it, but non-dual tantric teachings is that not only is there a divine, you are the divine expressed uniquely in you, through you, as you. So right now, I'm looking through this body and this psyche called Lisa. I am the divine, looking through these eyes at the divine in another expression called Sabrina.
Wow. That's so interesting to me. On like another level. Never even heard this before.
Yeah.
So thank you for enlightening us.
Yeah.
I want to ask, what is the number one lesson you've learned from life?
Well, the number one lesson that I've learned through all of this is exactly what we've just been talking about, is that all of the suffering that I've endured in my life, if I look back now, I can clearly see that it was because I didn't know the answer to the question, who am I?
Wow.
And when I say know the answer to the question, who am I don't mean as a conceptual answer. Oh, I am, the divine looking through these eyes in this psyche. I say that and I actually experience that,
Wow.
like
Yeah.
it's a felt experience. I know who I am. When I know who I am at that level, I know that I'm already complete and whole as I am. And so I'm no longer seeking through using tactics and shiny, marketing objects like the law of attraction to get what I need in order to feel fulfilled in life.
Yeah.
It's not even in my, I don't even need that anymore.
Yeah. I understand that. I want to give a shout out real fast to all the individuals that are listening live. Thank you so much for hanging out with us, being present, and supporting Lisa in her journey and all the awesome things she's teaching us. I want to ask Lisa, for myself and those listening, it's obvious that your specialty is the law of karma, but can you give us a little more substance as to what you do, what your business is, who you exactly help?
Yeah. I work primarily with high performing men and women who would identify themselves as spiritual seekers, maybe been on this path, or maybe been using the law of attraction, or like myself, a spiritual tourist. You've dabbled in all different types of religions or spiritual traditions. But are still finding themselves stuck, repeating the same patterns over and over again, even though they've done years of searching and years of the work. They sort of feel stumped. So those are like the people that I primarily help. I do also help. A good percentage of my clients are also going through spiritual awakenings, don't really understand what's happening to them, feel like their life is a mess, and don't realize, oh, I'm in the midst of a spiritual emergency here. So all of the work that I do is informed by yoga, wisdom, traditions, much like what we've been talking about here on the podcast. So I do two things. One is I work with people one-on-one, which is often needed to work through these deeper issues on a psychological, but also a spiritual level. So those are, that's the one-on-one work that I do. And then I also do group programs. I have a group program called Reshape Your Destiny, where I actually go through and teach the law of karma and include meditation in that, and all different. We sort of look at the law of karma put your life into the context of the law of karma and start doing practices and see how to harness the law of karma to create a happier, freer, more fulfilling life.
Beautiful. That's awesome. How long have you been in and amongst the law of karma arena?
Since, well, I really started learning about it probably around 2010 or so, so maybe 12 years. And just over the years have really, I almost think of it just like synchronicity or grace. One thing leads you to another. It's like, oh, okay, I'm reading about it in this book, and somehow you get led to another book or teaching or scripture about it. One of the biggest sort of eye-opening things that I read that helped me understand the law of karma even more was a scripture called the Bhagavad Gita, which is a very popular scripture in Hindu philosophy. So, yeah. So a while now, I would say.
That's great. That's great. I want to ask, as far as somebody contacting you and kind of dipping into this, and this is me just kind of I'm projecting right now, where I was when I was a Christian, and my hesitancy in stepping into something other than that, or even opening a book on anything other than that, was quite scary. And you think that like the devil's gonna come like get you in your sleep, and that's a real thing. That's like a real thought that happens with these individuals. So I know that you said that you specifically work with individuals who are kind of already on the path of spiritual awakening and or law of attraction. But what about for those that are totally on the other side right now, but this kind of piqued their interest?
Yeah, I would say that my experience is that the people who are attracted to my work are ready, and the work that I do are ready, willing, and capable. You sort of need to be those three things: ready, willing, and capable, meaning open-hearted, open-minded, to see other perspectives other than the one that you may have been entrenched for years. And I definitely have students who hold Christian values, but are exploring yoga as well. And I can think of a couple very prominently in my mind who are in that questioning that you're talking about. They're at a point, they're like, I really believe and I have these Christian values, but I also see how this yoga thing works and how it fits into my life. And it's not threatening at all to hold my Christian values and still have these yoga insights as well.
Got it. That's a good sidestep for somebody right there. That was good. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Well, this was absolutely phenomenal. I was taking notes the whole time, so I'm sorry I kept looking off screen there, but I was jotting down some stuff because I had never heard of a lot of this. And I also totally appreciated the parallels between the law of attraction and religion. I thought that was so enlightening for me. I'm not a component of the law of attraction either. I'm very much like, I'm always trying to learn. So I'm always just trying to pick stuff up everywhere and anywhere I go. So at that point in my life, that was just one of the things I had picked up. So, listening and absorbing and, creating my own belief of non-belief, I guess. So I want to thank you so much. I want to thank you so much for being here. For those of you that are still hanging on tight as we go into an hour, thank you so much for being here. If you're watching this on the replay, make sure you hashtag replay so that we know that you were here, and we can send you some love wherever you are. Do you have any closing thoughts, Lisa, before I close up?
Well, just thank you so much for having me on your podcast. I love what you're doing. I think that the work that you're doing is so critical, so important. I love your just that your idea that sharing our stories helps other people in their journey. And I think that that's so important. And for all the listeners, share your story. We can all relate. We're all in the same journey together. So thank you for the good work that you're doing and providing for so many people. It was wonderful to be here with you today.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you for everything. Thank you for your time. So I'm going to go ahead and close out. Thank you so much for those of you that are here hanging out with us. This community is expanding every single day and is filled with females who are striving to do better than they did yesterday. For those of you that are new to this podcast and like content like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button, follow, like, and share. If you have an amazing story to share, make sure you reach out to me either here or at herversion.life. I am your host, Sabrina Victoria, and I'm so grateful to be here sharing a platform that allows people to share their truth and inspire others. Until